I felt this guy's pain, and I cried. And then like there's little moments here and there, you're like crying for this guy.
How's it going? I'm your host, Enrique, and you're watching another episode. Today we have a fantastic guest, Jose, a creative photographer, starting off at the American Art Academy with illustration and film, and now a creative director with fashion, portraits, and lifestyle images. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you here. You were just here recently doing a shoot. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Yeah. So I was working with a model, Sophia, and we were looking for ideas to do outside. Cause so her and I, we have like a partnership that we do, and we work together a lot on a lot of projects. And then we just wanted to do something like personal. And so we looked through some of the dresses, and then we found Utah gowns, and we found this beautiful blue dress, and we only had a few days to use it because we ordered it about 4 months ago. So it took a while to get here. And then when we finally got it, like, all right, let's just use this as much as possible. So we shot here in the studio.
Yes.
We wanted to do like a nice, like moody, dreamy kind of portrait. And then we shot at the Culture Center in Chicago.
Yes.
And then we also went to Wisconsin and shot out there in like the woods and there in these like nice snowy tall trees and everything.
Wow.
So
When can we expect to see some final results? You got a time frame?
hoping like within like 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Nice.
So it's like the hardest part for me is always like picking out the images.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, trying to like narrow that down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, going back a little bit, more about you. So from the academy, from illustration to photography, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey and, some of your favorite projects?
Yeah, so photography in general, how it started is actually a friend of mine was asking me to help out with like marketing because he was opening up a jiu-jitsu company. And so from there, he's like, hey, I need somebody to take pictures. You're a very artsy person. Maybe like I can get you the camera and you can learn from there and then like help me out and we could do all these amazing things. And I'm like, sure. Like I have zero experience in any cameras or anything. But I did, went to the American Art Academy. And I was only honestly there for like 2 years. And then I just dropped out. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. So they would have these little like returns. I think alumni is what you call them.
Okay.
And then one guy just depressed me, and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't found anything. It's been like almost 2 years, and I'm still working at McDonald's right now." And I'm like, you know what? I don't think this is the right place for me to be. I'm gonna leave. So yeah. And then from there, just like, because originally I went for animation because I was super into anime, and just learned about everything that was required to get into it. And I'm like, I don't have the money or the mathematical skills and everything to figure this out, so I am out. But then I changed it to fine arts because before that I was very into oil painting, colors and everything, and then also illustration. So those were my two like focus in college, and then from there just like didn't do anything for a while, and then my friend reached out to me, and then I'm like, all right, well, started to learn the whole process of photography. Definitely learned through YouTube, so that's where I learned just about everything.
YouTube Academy, that's definitely the place to go.
Yeah, and then Peter McKinnon was like the big one for me. I'm like, oh cool, he popped up during that time where he's like just on #1 for everything. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I like this guy's, the way he talks and everything, the simple things. Started learning a lot through him, and then started to go to exploring that route. And then realized a lot of the editing is kind of just like oil painting and everything just translated over. And then once I learned like how the tools and how to switch it up, I'm like, it just made editing so much easier. So editing, super quick. I learned how to do that. Um, and then
And then creative director.
yes, okay,
So you are you do marketing as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you work with any agencies in particular, or are you just contracted by here and there?
Pretty much like contracted here and there.
Okay.
So, cause so before all this and where I met my friend was through a gym. And so I learned a lot about the gym fitness industry. So taking pictures for them, doing videos, and then kind of like how I expanded from there. Because then they had an agency that they hire for marketing, and I think they went to about like 3 different ones. But I had a connection to all three, and then they're like, "Hey, let's do this," and then grew from outside of that and kept growing outside of doing that. And then from there, did some music video for some friends that I connected along the way. And then also started to take like lifestyle portraits for upcoming stars for businesses and stuff like that as well. Yeah, and just kept going from there. So it's like I kept meeting people and people kept finding me. And then like I understand that feeling of like, you know what, you're just starting out. And I met a lot of like startups. From there, I'm like, oh, cool, let me help you. And then you help me. And then we'll do this, you know, that or like, hey, you just pay for the studio and let's do this together.
Yeah.
And kept building up relationships like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself, in a few years in this industry? Do you think you'll continue on with just photo? I know you mentioned you do video as well.
Yeah. So video has been all last year is what I've been like trying to learn and trying to um, reframe my brain to kind of like get away from photography, what I know from that, and then do more film. Because I had a friend who actually went to film school, and I would help him with all his projects. So I was like, all right, I was behind the scenes, I was in front of the camera, I was the actor, whatever he needed me to do, I was there. And I wanted to learn more about that. So even right now, I'm like trying to meet other filmmakers and like, hey, can I help you with this? And then you can show me some of this, or show me along the way. So that's I'm in the process of doing that, and I feel like I'm gonna lean a lot more towards that, just creating more film. Just because like I have a lot of things that I want to say or express or just like visually tell you without any words. And then so I'm trying to learn that whole process. So right now, like I have like two good people that I'm really talking to, and just trying to figure out everything. And then
Do you want to shout them out?
yeah, so one is Blueberry, and then
Shout out Blueberry.
and then this one I met recently. Um, it's gonna hurt me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But they're helping you with the project essentially. So were you
Yeah.
thinking like short film or like we're talking feature film? Like what were you thinking?
Mostly short film.
Short film?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I like the short stories. I like the little just like quick, like okay, it gets you emotional, it gets you invested, or it brings you right into a moment and situation that you are personally in. And it's just like a film or a short story that I saw recently, just like two people that are dating, but they're like, I like you a little bit, but I like you a lot. And like, oh, but I only see you as a fun date. And like, oh, I see a relationship with you. You know, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. It's like I can see that. And it keeps going from there. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, that's what it feels like dating is today.
Yeah, no, and I love who doesn't love a good love story, right? And I feel like
Right.
it's really relatable and people can, associate with that because everyone can associate with love, right?
Right.
But you kind of answered without answering my next question. What is the driving force behind what you do? What you do? Is it monetary? Is it someone in particular that gives you that ignition, or is it purely self-expression? But from what you're telling me, it sounds like more so self-expression.
It's definitely a lot of that. And then with expression, it just comes a lot of like also like relationships. So like connection with other people, and just having that experience, just like, hey, we're doing this together, and this is really fun, And I feel like in these industries, it's like a lot of people like you just come and go, but there's a very like small handful of people that you like, hey, let's do this again because it was really fun,
Yeah.
memorable. Let's plan for the next one. Let's start hanging out outside of here. Let's become friends. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So it's also that because definitely a lot of expression, but it also comes from like different ideas and feelings. So everything's like just kind of like integrated together.
Yeah.
Form of like doing everything. The reason why I do things is one, mostly just because I want to be in a better place, you know. And as a kid, I was always into art, always drawing. You know, my all my math books and especially math, especially I was lost. But you'll find drawings, you'll find like aliens attacking with ninjas and stuff like that on there. Um, and then, but as growing up, and then just dealing with a lot of family like drama and issues and stuff like that, it's like I kept escaping more into that, and just like finding myself wanting to be more happy, but instead just like falling into depression.
Right.
And so everything kind of like art was my escape. Took so many art classes in high school, and I think at one point my senior year I only had like 3 art classes. I'm like, that's amazing. That's like my whole day.
Yeah.
And I kept driving up from there. And then the more I started to learn about myself through art and stuff like that, and then I started to learn about like art therapy. That was so much fun that I just took for fun.
We're gonna have to talk about that after the show, because
Yes.
oh wow, I've never heard of art therapy.
Yeah, art therapy.
You want to touch on it really briefly?
Yeah, it's just depending, like you could either do a one-on-one or do it with a group of people. But basically, you're drawing how you feel, or painting, or however, whatever the medium is, and you are just drawing just to express. But then you can also talk to like the person next to you, or the person that you're with, or through your therapist, and then go from there. So it's like you're doing something. You're not completely attached to that emotions happening, but you're talking about the experience of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And so that way, like, okay, now you're able to process it a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Now I'm gonna go on Google and start doing some research, because yeah, that sounds really interesting. I love artists who are able to tap into that side of their brain, not just being like analytical and work, but be
Yeah.
creative in a way, and let their emotions be that driving force. Because sometimes that's not me. Although I, similarly to you, let photography be my escape, but that's because I was by myself wandering the streets trying to capture subjects that were alone, because I felt alone. You know, like it was, to me, it started off as a form of self-expression. So I
Yeah.
resonate with that a lot. But that's really awesome. I'm really glad that you gave all of us a little bit of an insight into something new, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I'm not the only one that didn't know about art therapy, you know, so thank you for that. As a creative director, going back to what you do now, as a creative director, lifestyle, fashion photographer, what are some misconceptions that people have about our line of work, and what advice would you give to those who are trying to get into that line of work?
Yeah. Don't feel like you have to do everything that your client tells you. Yes, like they're saying they want this, but you have to kind of read beyond that a little bit. Just because, like, yes, I want this, or you like, okay, are you talking about like this whole like vision, the quality? Are you talking about like the feeling behind it? Like, what is it that you're trying to capture? Because then, because there's like, I don't know, I just know that I like it, and it becomes a very like difficult thing. Like you capture it, and they're like, I don't like it. They want you to do another shoe, another retouch. You know, they want another revision about something. You know, but yeah, don't feel like afraid to like say or not do what they ask you to do, but just like find a little bit more of a deeper understanding of what they want to do. A lot of definitely talk to them, like with your clients and everything ahead of time. Um, but also when it comes to like just like mm, when it comes to like directing and everything, it's just like you don't have to take everything on for yourself either. Have two good people, even just one person who understands you very well, that's close, and then talk to them, and then they understand what you want, and then they can handle a small group of people.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of supervisor roles, and I had of like manager roles too, And then I think the most I ever handled was like 50 people. So talking, delegating is like, all right, you can do this, and then have so and so work with you, and then they can work with the rest. So it's kind of like a chain of command.
Right. Yeah.
But everybody's responsible and do their thing, and then they just relay back to you and it's like, hey, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And then you can bring your attention to everything. Because if you try to take on everything, it's going to feel overwhelming.
Yes.
You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to get mad at somebody, which I never want to do.
Yeah.
And then, and you don't want anybody leaving like, oh, man, I don't want to return tomorrow. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's important. No, and I love that message as well, is to build a team. If you can build a team, work with others, whether it's actually like hiring someone or if it's collaborative, because the more people that you have behind you supporting you, the easier it is to get the job done. And to touch a little bit back onto what you were saying about not falling into the trap of the customer's wants.
Right.
It's very important as us professionals. We are the professionals. They're hiring us because we're professionals.
Yes.
It's important to give your opinion, seek further than the baseline or the ice or the surface of the ice, or right. And really get to what they need, not just what they want, right?
Right.
And I think that's really important. Wow, thank you so much for going into deep dive on what you do, why you do what you do, best practices, and the advice that you gave us and the resources. I hope you guys appreciated the deep dive. We're going to jump into spray and pray. Do you know what spray and pray is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that I think, remember it just now you said it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Spray and pray,
That
yes.
was a thing.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, spray and pray is a term amongst creatives, mainly photographers and videographers, when you hold the shutter button, spraying a bunch of photos and praying that you get the image that you want. So right now I'm going to spray a bunch of questions at you while you're going to be praying that you get this edit done within 3 minutes. So I'm going to let you choose Photoshop or Lightroom Classic. Which one would you want to use? I got Photoshop Beta, so if you wanted to use generative fill, AI, you're more than welcome. Or do you want to stick to the original Lightroom Classic?
I could do Photoshop.
Photoshop? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you have 3 images to choose from. The top 3 tabs are going to be your images. And these are the 3 images that he is choosing from. All portraits, seeing as that you are a portrait photographer. Shout out to my good friend Vuli, her sister, and Mirabella. So there are 3 different portraits, 3 different feelings. Once you have the image chosen, just let me know and I can get the timer started. I'll go ahead and give you a minute to choose.
All right, I think I got one.
Yeah, which one did you choose?
This one right here.
Shout out Mirabella. Yes, fantastic model. We were doing a video on diffusion and she needed some photos and we had a designer involved and stuff like that. And it was a fun shoot. But I'm going to count you in, all right?
All right.
Ready? 3, 2, and 1. 3 minutes just started. Here we go. So they're this and that questions. They're not too intricate. You don't have to think too much about it. First question, reading or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
Audiobooks, okay.
Yeah.
Music or podcasts?
Podcast.
Podcasts.
Yes.
Next one, movies or series?
Oh, damn. Okay. Definitely serious.
Series? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Headphones or earbuds?
Headphones.
Next one, Android or iPhone?
Android or iPhone? Definitely Android, but I have an iPhone.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll touch on that.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that. You got 2 minutes left. Laptop or tablet?
Laptop or tablet? Laptop.
Laptop. PC or Mac?
PC or Mac? No, I love Mac. I have a PC.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, so you might be struggling on this if you're a Mac user.
Yeah.
Next one, urban or suburban?
Urban or suburban? Suburban.
Suburban?
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of surprises me. Oh, okay. Sony or Canon?
I love Canon, but I have Sony.
Yeah. Yo, Canon is a really good company. But
Yeah.
next one. Nikon or Fuji?
Nikon or Fuji? Oh, definitely Fuji.
Fuji.
Yeah.
Next one. Flash or continuous?
I like Flash.
Flash.
But continuous is so easy.
You got to choose one.
I know. Definitely Flash.
Flash. Okay. Next one. Gimbal or handheld?
Gimbal.
45 seconds left. Capture One or Lightroom?
Capture One or Lightroom. I like Lightroom, but I'm learning Capture One right now.
Likewise, I'm
Yeah.
still on the fence.
There's just so much you can do in
Yeah.
there.
Next one. Premiere or DaVinci?
Premiere or DaVinci? Premiere. I haven't even tried.
Try DaVinci. Okay.
Yeah.
TikTok or Instagram?
Oh, I love TikTok.
TikTok. Okay. Twitter or Reddit?
Twitter or Reddit? Damn. I'm on both. You know what? Twitter. 'Cause
Twitter?
It's like the Wild Wild West.
All right. You got 3, 2, 1. The time is up.
Damn.
So before we go over the list,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more about the edit that you made on the photo?
Yeah. So what I did was trying to figure out. Well, I realized it's not the same shortcuts. No, I should have went to Lightroom. But what I did was I did a color lookup, and then I changed the what do you call it? Like the effect over it into like a lighter color.
Mm.
And then I ended up choosing the Fuji F25 color grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I went to the curve, did a mid-tone, and then found that, and it kind of adjusted down to about like 13%.
Oh, wow.
And then I was about to start cleaning up like any like
Blemishes
and stuff like that.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you already got like the basic done, and then you were going to get into retouching.
Yeah.
You're probably the first guest that has advanced that far because a lot of them get distracted by the questions.
Yeah.
But before I review and we showcase the before and after of the photo, I want to finish the list, and then we're going to go over why you chose what you chose.
Okay.
So last ones, film or digital?
Film or digital in terms of like video? Right?
No, like film photography or digital photography?
Oh, I definitely love film.
Film?
I'm learning that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Studio or on location?
On location.
On location?
Yeah.
Next one, short form or long form content?
Damn. Long form.
Long form?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Pre-production or post-production?
Pre-production.
I love pre-production.
Yeah.
That's where the ideas come to life, right?
Yeah.
Last one, photo or video?
Photo or video? I like video.
You like video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go over the edit really quick to show the audience. I'm going to steal that back from you. So this is the before. This is the before. And then this is the after. Wow. Yeah, I love the warmth that you added to this. It's a very good edit.
Yeah.
I really like it. All right, let's go over why you chose what you chose. So you chose audiobooks.
Yes.
Are you listening to any audiobooks that you want to recommend to the audience?
What was the last thing? You know what? No, I'm not. Nothing right now.
Nothing right now. No, that's cool.
Just because like I have so many books and I keep buying books, but I never listen to read them. But I'll listen to them later. Like somewhere there'll be like a podcast or something. I'm like, oh yeah, they're talking about this book.
No, yeah. No, I hear it's a really good practice to actually read and listen to it as you're reading. Because it apparently just stays with you better.
That's probably a better idea.
Yeah. I need to start doing both.
I'm like, I don't want to hear the voice in my head.
Right. You chose series over movies. You got any good series that you're watching right now that you want to recommend?
Okay, so I watched this Korean one. It's on Amazon. It came out a month ago, and it's already completed. It's called Death's Game.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so it's Korean K drama. So if you, I know there's a lot of people that love K drama.
Yes.
This one's really good because it starts off in the first like 10 minutes, establish your main character, and I tell you like every episode, especially this first 10 minutes, I felt this guy's pain, and I cried, and then like there's little moments here and there, you're like crying for this guy or like crying about the situation that he's in, and you're like, it is so unfair, but it's like that Korean culture or that Asian culture is just like working so much, trying to do better. And you just see in the first 10 minutes, like he's happy go lucky. This one guy just like dies right in front of him. And then he is shocked by because he's holding this guy.
Oh my
and
God.
from then on, for the next, I think, 7 years, like his life has been miserable. Job couldn't get the job because he was on the way to an interview to get a high paying job. He's super excited. His girlfriend's like, "You're gonna get this." You know, his mom wishing him the best and everything. And boom, 7 years later, he's just like, he's doing Uber, basically.
Oh,
Taking drunk
no.
people home and stuff like that, high like profile people. And it's just like miserable, and you just seeing one thing after another, and you're crying for this guy. And so he, does he jumps off the cliff, right? And that's when
You're giving spoilers?
it's
Oh my gosh.
first 10 minutes.
Oh, no way. No way.
First 10 minutes.
The first 10
and
minutes?
And it sets up everything. And
Hey, that's the setup?
that's the setup, right? Because then you still have to go
Wow.
through the rest of the episode
Yeah.
about how he's experienced everything.
Oh my
and
gosh.
why it's called Death's Game.
Okay.
And then because Death comes and tells him like, you're not, I'm here because you came looking for me when I should have been the one looking for you.
For you.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm definitely going
Yeah.
to go home and watch it with wifey.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's a good series. Well, it sounds like a good series. Next one, you chose, and this will be the last one before we move on to the next segment.
Mm-hmm.
Photo over video. You chose video.
Yes. So the reason I chose video is just because, one, with like the rise of TikTok and then like the reels and everything, I just been more entranced and then like at all like watching the videos, whether they're just like something dumb and funny, or it's just like a commentary about like the dating scene and everything. That was just showing like I was just sharing like videos of this photographer who shows like the whole process before, during what they're in, their interaction together with the model, and then like afterwards and everything, going through the photos on the computer. I'm like, I love that whole process. It shows you how excited you setting up everything with your assistant, and then like your interaction with the model, how happy they are, trying new things, and then the model also just suggesting things to you. And then like just how happy they are with the results and everything, and like you see the results without any edits.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's really cool.
No, that is really cool. And that's sort of what we try to accomplish here at XR with our social media content, is to showcase the behind the scenes, how it looks before. And then, of course, everyone wants to see the final image, the final reveal. But no, yeah, I agree that the world still continues to move forward with short form video. But it's interesting because TikTok now added photos. So now you can just swipe. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess I don't count that as photos.
No? Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's hard because then it's like think of like Instagram, like a carousel, and then you just swipe
that's
to see the photos. And then there's like music, but
I guess
it's interesting.
Part of my brain like thinks of it as like a story.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, it's just a story. It's just like skip.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you liked Sprayed and Prayed. Thank you so much for participating.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thanks. Now we're going to move on to the next segment, which is creative community in Chicago, where we're going to be talking about a little bit about the community of creatives here. I want to touch on a little bit of what you were talking about in the beginning, actually, which kind of stuck with me, is building a team, also sort of building a community, because you did touch on like working with each other more in a collaborative effort, and like let's be friends after, and that might not happen with every photographer or videographer or creative that you meet, but I think it's I think it's important to have that mindset, to surround yourself with others
Yeah.
that are also equally as expressive and support you. What would you say, which community, and it doesn't have to be creative, what community do you think you associate with most?
Um, you know, it's not even like a creative community. It's more like a game community.
Oh, no way.
And it actually was, I've still been part of this group for almost, I think, 7 years, 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Way longer than photography.
Oh, wow.
And I used to play this game called League of Legends.
I heard of League of Legends.
Yeah.
Wait, it's also on mobile, right? Or is it only mobile?
Well, there's, I think it's like League of Mobile, I think it's called.
Oh.
But I think that's kind of the same company. I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't because I did play that. I played for a date. I'm like, I don't want it. but I like to call myself like a reformed League player now.
Oh, okay.
Because I no longer play, but I still hang out with the same people. We still meet, and then and Steve, who's like the amazing chef that he is, because we get invited to either his house or his girlfriend's house. Also my friend, and just cooks the most amazing meals, right? And he cooks Korean, he cooks like Mexican food, like he loves cooking and everything he taught himself. Like I assume watching videos, like I never asked her. I just like, you know what? Let me just enjoy your food.
Right. That's awesome. No, yeah, and how involved would you say you are in any creative community here in Chicago?
I want to say like 0.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
You know what? When I first started and I really wanted to learn, I tried a bunch of different communities and just either didn't find the right people or just didn't feel like it wasn't gearing towards like, oh yeah, come join us, just like hey, come shoot this thing, and that's it.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I just
right.
paid that and then came in and then that's it. Okay,
right.
cool.
Yeah.
And so even throughout the years, it's just like trying to find the right people.
Yeah.
Yes, you can find people like, hey, let's do this creative thing, and then but that's all you do. It's like, all right, well, I can't come to you if like I have a problem, or I can't call you if like something happens and like I need you to come help me, like I don't know, move a fridge or something, like stuff like that. It's like, all right, that's just sticking there, and I'm like, cool, that's it was enjoyable. I learned a lot, but it wasn't making me a better person. It wasn't like making me any smarter or like happy to be there. I'm like, all right, I feel like I'm going to class,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like, all right, cool. There's a group of people. Like I see them every day. We got this project, and then we're gonna do the project. We communicate. We have fun. But it's just like that's all we.
That's the extent of it,
that's
right?
the extent of it. Yeah.
Because it interested me before we started the podcast. I was like, wait. Let's save the conversation.
Yeah.
You said you don't attend events and stuff like that.
Yes.
Is there anything that would like entice you to go to like networking events, Instagram meetups, like trade shows or anything?
Honestly, it's just like a genuine, like, I wouldn't say invitation, but it's like, hey, you're my friend and you're going, I'll be there for you. Which is most of the time, like, the only reason I will go to most events.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want you to be there. I need some support. I'm
and
very
that's
scared.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more intimate. And you did mention that it's like building that relationship, right? Building that connection, not just keeping it surface level, but actually, getting to know the person, not just for a job or a project, but to build a relationship, which is really nice, No, that's really interesting. I actually, I did the opposite, maybe because I was feeling like out of place. I went to a couple of Instagram meetups way before the pandemic. I believe it was like 2016 maybe, but I went to like Shy Shooters or Art of Shy, and it definitely wasn't my crowd. They're great people, and they were all very creative.
Exactly how I felt. Yeah.
And I was just like, this isn't for me. But then I continued to go to like car meetups and there was car photographers and car videographers. And I was just like, oh, this is a really cool community. But again, it didn't feel like me, right?
Yeah.
And no, I just kept hopping from community to community. And I was like, I feel like there's a lack of community for photographers or creators in general, you know?
Yeah.
And that's sort of the premise of XR trying to be a lighthouse and pillar to continue to help build and solidify that community. And that's why I think it was important to continue to sneak peek, workshop ahead, you know, to mention it to you, because I definitely want to get people involved, people to build those relationships, because I think it's important to not just work on projects together, but to lend a helping hand, right? Yeah. Whether that be creative or personal, just to build those relationships and feel strong within our community as creatives, right? But do you have, to wrap up, do you have any ideas or suggestions on how we can build a stronger and healthier community of creatives in Chicago?
Honestly, it takes a good leader, you know, and then one of the things that draws me to you is just like the way you communicate and talk to people. Instantly, for some reason, I just feel like we've known each other for a long time, and I'm like your best friend, and I'm like, man, I just love having you around.
Thanks, and thanks.
You know,
likewise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just like that good, genuine like feeling, just talking about it, you know, reaching out to people, because I feel like a lot of when it comes to trying to build community, definitely you need a good leader and a leader to lead by example. And just creating that safe space, not just in front of the camera, but also behind, which is mostly like, hey, you know, the people that you're talking to or you're working with are going to say a lot more to other people than you saying it about yourself.
Yeah.
So that's always very like helpful, but also like, hey, you know, how'd you get here? And they're like, oh, so brought me over because, you know, they love working with you, or they love this, or you did this one thing for them. And I want to talk to you more about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like just building that genuine interest in not just you, but in the thing that you're trying to create.
Yeah.
And then just keep telling people the reason why you're building this community. Like, hey, I want this to happen, but also go, not just doing photo shoots, because that's why I feel like most of it, that's where it gets trapped. Like, hey, we had this cool idea, we had this cool location, everybody comes by and, you know, like, you know, drop some money here and there, which is fine.
Right.
But that's all you're doing. Like, hey, what about like going outside of that? Like, hey, let's all get breakfast. Let's all go to the park and have a picnic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To sort of bounce off of that, there's a gentleman that I became acquainted with, and I remember he was just saying just that his friend is trying to build a community, is a little bit more exclusive, and he's just like, think of it back in the era of the Romans, you know, people, the Romans, and I was just like,
the Roman Empire.
The Roman Empire. Like that meme or that TikTok, like, hey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Once a week.
You know what? Ever since that came out,
I've been thinking about it, you know? But it has been a topic of discussion. Yeah. But back to the original point. He's like, the sculptors, the painters, you know, they would spend dinners together, get glasses of wine, inspire each other, you know? And I think that's very important, is just to not just come together when it's like, oh, hey, it's time to shoot. Like, no, let's continue to grow together.
Because what are you doing at the shoot, instead of like, hey, one person shoot, and then like then sharing the information, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, or bouncing ideas off of like during pizza, you know, sharing this like I thought about this, like, oh, we should do that together. How would we set that up, you know? Even just talking about it gets exciting before actually doing it. You
know? No gatekeeping, guys. Stop gatekeeping your ideas and share the wealth, share the knowledge, and spread inspiration. You know. Well, Jose, thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you have any projects, anything that you want to tell the audience, anything that they can look forward to? Where can they find you on socials?
You can definitely find me on Instagram at joze.whoa. And really, it's pretty much my handle for everything. So, yeah, you'll find me. If you want to find me somewhere, just type that in.
joze.whoa.
joze.whoa, yes.
Yes,
See?
yes, yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Some of them don't have a dot.
Oh,
So
sorry, my bad.
so you do one with and without.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot my own handle.
No, you're good. You're good. Any projects that you want to tell the people or anything? Any final message, inspiration?
So, personal projects. Just been working a lot of film stuff, and nothing particular. But I am working with like another creative, and we're building like a kind of another business. So we're working on that, and then yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. And thank all of you for watching today's episode. If you're a creative and you have any ideas or suggestions on how we can continue to build a creative, a strong and healthy community, let us know and send us a message to be on the podcast. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Bye.